Hello and welcome along to another edition of Extra Time Unlocked Lagu Gaga CFM Sports. Obviously, now we're going to be switching our attention onto rugby. Rugby World Cup is but our franchise teams are back in action. United Rugby Championship. We are 5 match days into the season of URC. And you know, Makoni Rakpuguti, there's only one man we can call upon, Lagu Extra Time Unlocked, and that is Umapoloba Endingobo, the man himself. Bafo, Kambagash.
Ngaphila futhi ngiyabonga ukuthi phinde ningicele nginivashele ngumfana gogo.
Mfana gogo ngagcina ukubona amabhokobhoko enqoba indebe yomhlaba. Ngicathi wathi wangibona ebhasini lapha.
Ngakubona ebhasini kodwa ungangiboni.
Angakubona lapha.
Usuhambe lapha phezulu njengendizamshini.
Hey phela masakuyile zayinsuku asabambeki. But obviously mntakababa 5 match days into United Rugby Championship season. Sibonile kama team akithi in action, mostly away from home. They're on tour in Europe. The likes of the Bulls are getting a good-ish start to the season, winning ama games out 3. But it hasn't been a great start for all South African teams in general. Masbabuga Bonke.
Yeah, it hasn't been a great start. I think the one thing the Bulls have an advantage is the amount of talented players that have had Ilokunjani experience internationally and teams overseas. So Mobuga, Ilawanto, Njongo Marcel could say have played for the Springboks, played overseas. So they kind of understand and they kind of know what to do in those kind of situations. Madlala like URC. Whereas in the other teams, majority of them, whereas if it's a majority of their players, Western Province and my Sharks, they have a couple of players who are in Springbok rest. So hopefully in the next coming weeks, bazokwazi ukubuya. So yeah. But in saying that as well, I think the opportunity emnandi ukubona abadlali who so-called are second string players. Now, but only to bedlala against these high-profile international players from all the other teams in Europe.
Yeah, I want us to focus on the Sharks because all of the other teams have gotten wins. I think the Lions only have one win. Abayithola nabo bedlala ekhaya against the Stormers. Stormers have also wins under their belts. But the Sharks have lost all 5 games so far at the start of the season. New coach, John Plumtree, coming into the team. Obviously, new philosophy, new way of doing things than what they played in the last couple of years. What have you made of their starts? But what have you seen from them? Apart looking beyond the results now, what have you seen from the Sharks that has been going wrong for them in Leo 5?
I think I can start off with not all dark and gloom. If you look, if it's the first game they played, one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, it's actually first two games.
Munster
and Leinster.
Munster and Leinster, and obviously they packed their sides with internationals, and we didn't lose. The score margin wasn't that big. I think it was just came down to lack of experience. And another thing is, John Plumtree and Just Maz, he's come from New Zealand and whatnot, and the kind of game plan that he's playing, more it's more of a running style and whatnot, whereas in the European teams it's more of a choke, test match rugby, get the points and do the basics, the scrums, the lineouts. I think our lineouts were quite poor last week as well. But those simple basic things, Lions or Springboks are born now.
Yeah.
So the guys, I think, just to me, it just looked like a lack of experience to get over the line. It does short the line and a bit of leadership that guys that have been there coming together and saying, okay, let's grab the ball by the horns and let's do this. So I think later on to the season, obviously when the experienced guys come back in and the Springboks come back in, there'll be a bit of a shift in play. But the nice thing is that we are playing an exciting brand of rugby. I think that's what we like as a KZN fans and everything. So there's a good thing. I think we just got to be patient and give them time. Obviously, us as the Shark supporters, yeah. So, but I think in due time, something's going to change, something's going to click. And the players are going to start performing to their peak. And yeah.
And obviously John Plumtree has also spoken about the patience, asking week after week has been asking for patience from the fans, which njengobushilo akuyona into elula ukuthi ama-fans ayamukele because the results are not coming.
And yeah, it's very hard. You know, you're coming into a system. Joe Tingishin is coming from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden coming to this competition. And you can see the brand of rugby that we play is more expensive. We spread the ball out wide. And I think there was just situations, especially if I look at last week's game, we could have taken the points.
Yeah.
But obviously we went for the try. We didn't get it. Our lineouts weren't as good as they could have been. But you learn from those mistakes, and hopefully the guys will improve as in time with their confidence coming in and with the winning guys coming back from the Springbok camp. So that's going to help. So yeah, it's going to be a patience. It's going to be a long-waited season. Yes, it's going to be miserable for us, but let's carry on coming coming to the stadium and watching the guys.
Yeah, ukhuluma ngephuzu lama Springboks. I think that's the most exciting things now for the Sharks. Obviously, we saw a glimpse of that last weekend against the Connect with Lucanio Arm coming back in, putting in a good performance as well. John Plumtree was impressed with a cameo yakhe game. But we are still going to see the likes of Ebenezer Beth coming into the team. Obviously, there is an injury to Umbonambi and to Vincent Koch, but Mapimpi is still going to come back. You know, so we do have those exciting Grant Williams as well, Jaden Hendricks. So all those players are still going to come back, my Sharks. And based on that, how good can the Sharks get, do you think?
I think there'll be a huge confidence booster.
Yeah.
And the guys are going to come put up some positive energy there with the likes of Ox, Eben, and whatnot. And the camp itself, that spirit and morale is going to be boosted. So we're going to improve. And like you said, our first 2 games, we played the top 2 teams in the competition. So at least we've got that out of the way, playing them away. So I think the other teams, we're going to give them a run for their money. If we can just start off with just a simple win, maybe this weekend at home, and then from there we build from that and we go forward. I think it's step by step. I think we just got to take it game by game, step by step, inch by inch, and so let's funge khona.
Yeah, ngiyazi ukuthi mhlawumbe conversation le it might be a bit premature looking at ukuthi ama team aqalile without the full squads, but looking at all the South African teams akhona sibonile ama Stormers adlala kahle in the first 2 seasons of United Rugby Championship. Is it possibly the same trend as soyibona futhi ukuthi ama Stormers are going to be that South African team, you know, once their Springboks are also back in the side? Are we going to see the likes of the Sharks, the Bulls? Obviously the Bulls started well, but is there other South African teams that could potentially leapfrog ama Stormers from that first position, looking at his shield? I
think it's going to be hard to beat ama Stormers. The Stormers, they've just got that winning mentality, and there's no pressure on them. You know, with the Sharks, obviously all the sponsors coming in, the big Americans, the players that we've brought in.
So you're talking about the pressure coming on
that's that pressure that's coming from inside for them to perform. Almost Thomas, they never had that pressure.
Yeah.
So they just went out and played, did their job. All of a sudden, 2 finals in 2 years.
Yeah.
So that was a nice part there for them. But to do it a third time, I think they've lost two or three players, if I'm not mistaken. Kitchoff is gone. And 2 other players, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not sure. I'm still to be corrected.
Yeah.
But they've still got that winning culture mentality, and I think they have tight-knit group. When the other guys come in to fuel the bus, I think the bus is going to keep moving. But in South Africa, they're going to be a tough team to beat. But so when I must be on they have to play the Munsters and the Leinsters and all of them. So at least we've already had our losses to them. I think we've got the easier draw now, finishing off the competition with our strong guys coming back in. If we can just get 3 or 4 wins on the trot, that changes the whole equation.
Hayi yindeke vele isizini United Rugby Championship. So abantu bangakhala ngokuqala kwesizini izinto zingahambi kahle. It is a league, you know, that goes on in 2 different years. So isikhathi sakhona
isikhathi. And sakhumbulisa abanye safanele becompete kwi-Heineken Cup as well. So
and the Sharks are not in the Heineken
so
Cup.
Our focus will just be on the URC. So there's a good and a bad. So masazi nje ukufocusa kahle, get the wins. Whereas now, once we start going, that shark tank, the shark machine, siluma kwasana.
Ziyakhala. No, asibonge kakhulu mtaka baba. Obviously, we're going to leave it here for this week. The United Rugby Championship imidlalo iyaqhubeka this weekend. Ama Sharks asekhaya futhi playing against the Dragons. So we're looking forward to all the action that's going to be happening. Namanye ngama team akhona la eMzansi azobedlala in round 6 of the United Rugby Championship. But it's a wrap off Extra Time Unlocked for this week. And of course, we're going to be back again with more next week.
Thank you.